Greetings, sunshines and sunnies. It is I, Queen Scarlet Pimp Sunkiss, coming at y'all right quick, right fast, maybe, with a royale reaction for The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 14, Episode 8, honey. What's the name of it? Healthy Glows and Low Blows. Ah, child. Being the fact that some of my faves already got their reviews up, I know that this is a jam-packed episode and I ain't even watched this shit. So I am thoroughly excited. And also, I hope you like the new ambiance. I can't guarantee that this will be consistent, but it's what we're working with today. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into okay, so we start off with Kenya and Brooklyn over there. Look like they having breakfast or something. Brookie got her a little plate or something. And Kenya tell her go through her days of the week. And she like Monday, Tuesday, and then she just stopped for a little powwow. And Kenya's like, okay, keep going. She like, I'm eating. I heard that, ma'am. Find you something else to do while I'm eating. So then we transform on over to Drew over with her. I guess drop it with her. Drop it with Drew. We over at her situation for it. I guess she having a that's what I say, a fat loss camp. She having a fat loss camp or whatever. Okay, so that's good that we actually getting to see her doing something concerning this business, because you know we all been like, what is this? Is it anything or what's happening? But something is indeed happening. And she was over there getting how she live. The girls was dropping it. I don't recollect if she was dropping it or not, but I saw some gals dropping it. Okay, I don't see Drew dropping it, but she pumping it. She pumping up the jam or whatever. Okay. And she's showing off some people around there. They said they done lost some weight. And her trainer that she got there that done made some progress with some folks. Okay, so she got some people because we ain't believe her. So she needed more people. And we saw at least 3 here. But it was a whole class of people though, like in the class. Only about 3 spoke. But there was a lot more people in the class. Okay, she wasn't running the class. She was more so a part of the class. But it was something. So she called her business partner also, Drew, making sure she showed us that her business is legit. Cause she FaceTiming her business partner, and she better big her head up telling her she cute right after a workout or whatever. But I mean, Drew is cute anyway. And if you cute after you work out, you look even more better. So that's why it's really important, honestly, to keep you physical exercising regimen of some sort. Now, Drew is also talking about how she want to show some more love to folks that's done made progress on her program and everything. That's what she was talking to her business partner about. So that's gonna be good to see. And like I said, Drew making sure that she show us that her business is legit. I ain't mad at it. Okay, so we pick back up over at Sonya's house. She's talking to her friend about what's going on with her and Ross. And kind of with her in general, but it leads up to Ross because she gets to talking about how it's a whole lot of tough conversations that she needs to have with people. And this is starting to make a lot of sense because, and that's interesting being the fact that she is an athlete, but maybe as an athlete, it's easier for her. But then now that I think about it, the type of athlete she is a runner, is a track star, running. So I can see how with Sonya in particular, her gift as a runner is a part of her weakness or limitation that she has or like creates for herself, because she seems to run from her issues, avoids the subject of her problems for as long as she can, however she can, until it kind of becomes an issue. Is kind of what it seems like. It don't seem like she's as bad as some people, but she got a little bit of that like has to be checked, and that makes sense as to how she comes off when she is trying to address something. Like she kind of starts off tiptoeing and beating around the bush when it's like, spit it out, spit it out, spit it out, okay? But anywho, she starts talking about how, you know, everything that her and Ross have going on personally and as a unit, and the conversation about him wanting to have another kid. And she's being honest right now about how she really don't know if she's sure if she even wants another kid. She may truly be fine with what she has, and honestly, it seems like that's the truth for her. I also wonder if it's something specific that happened when she was pregnant before or right after she had the baby before that makes her not want to have another kid because she's afraid of it happening again, or she's afraid of something of the sort creating that same type of feeling for her. And I think it's kind of the same thing that Robin spoke on over on Potomac, with Juan wanting another baby out of her, but Robin remembering having to do so much and go through so much during the pregnancy and during the postpartum stage and the first years of the kids' lives, her having to do so much on her own, and then also him cheating and, you know, being a dog, not being all that he could be and all that he should have been as her husband and as a father to her kids. That type of stuff is traumatizing. And so when women go through that with particular people, i.e. their husbands or, you know, their children's fathers, and then that same man, let alone somebody else, comes to them talking about, okay, let's have a baby, let's have another baby, they like, easy for you to say. And I feel like that's where Sonya kind of is with this subject right now and where she's coming from. She could potentially, like ordinarily, she wouldn't mind having another baby, but some memory, some pain, or trauma is attached to, you know, something that she's experienced, and it's like, I don't know about that. But at the same time, she may just be at her limit, like, I don't want to do that no more. I want to spend my time doing other things. I want to enjoy, you know, the freedom that I have now, even though she still has a little boy. He's not a baby, okay? And maybe she don't like being pregnant too. There's some women that like being pregnant, and there's some women that love their kids but hate it being pregnant. And it could be as simple as that. But I'm gonna get on back into the scene. And correction, this is Sonya's sister that she's talking to, not just a friend. So basically, they end up confirming what I said. Sonya says that she felt very alone the first time that she was pregnant, and like she was doing a lot of things on her own, because basically she was, because she states that she's a very career driven woman, and of course she likes and has a career driven man. So when she's in her mommy mode or whatever, and he's out getting the bag, getting the bag, that leaves everything on her, because yeah, you gotta get the bag, but she's still doing what she gotta do to get the bag, and she being a full-time mama at the same time. And she expresses how, you know, she's big on balance, and I really respect her for speaking on this, and I really respect her for speaking on this with this tone and this type of mindset and understanding that she has to be at her best and at her full capacity. She has to have the capacity and the time and the space to commit to self-care in some form, so that she can be the best mother that she can be, and the best wife that she can be, and the best her that she can be, the best sister, the best daughter, all of that she can be, just as is already. And it seems like she's feeling like, you know, she's gotten her routine down pat. You know, she's finally gotten the swing of things. You know, he still is working his regular schedule, which is still extensive, and then all of her stuff is extensive as well. And like I said, they probably had just gotten back into the swing of their romance, even as a whole. So with all of that being said, she don't want to feel like she going backwards and then gonna have to figure out how to fit a whole pregnancy and then a whole nother human being and all of this other shit that it comes with into the stability that they just got rehabilitated. So I completely feel her. Now she's talking about something like she want to plan a dinner or something to have this conversation. Oh, she ain't really going deal or whatever. She just. Oh, and she does say to her, because her sister said that she can see how she's like burnt out on the mommy mode, and she is kind of becoming, you know, burnt out on just being needed. And Sonya asks, you know, how do you see it? And he don't see it, and I'm trying to express it to him. And it could be too that he don't really want to. He wants to keep things as they are. He wants to keep the dynamic as it is and how it's always been. And for this particular change to happen, he would have to do something to change. Like the change would be on him. Whereas Sonya has been accepting the responsibility for so long, as many women do, to be the shapeshifter, the chameleon, the adapter, the water bender, the fire bender, the God, okay? You know, constantly reforming and reshaping and re-evolving and all that shit over and over and over again in order to keep the peace and keep the dynamic and keep everything happy. That can be overwhelming when it's only on one person. It can't just be one person evolving and re-evolving and rebirthing and all of that. Where Erica De Niro say, dying and come back and dying and come back and dying and come back. Like, it can't just be one person doing that shit. The relationship can die and come back and die and resurrect and die and resurrect as a form of evolution. But, you know, not as a form of a toxic relationship, fighting and making up, fighting and making up, fighting and making up. That's not what I mean. That's a whole other conversation for another time. But that's not what I mean. We're gonna stay on the peaceful level of it all, because I don't get toxic, volatile between Sonya and Ross. What I more so get is kind of a love and basketball type of thing, where Monica and Quincy bonded on both of them being athletes, but because of how society is, a lot of people in society and even the industry of athletes, sports as a whole, does not hold women's sports to the same level as the male versions of the sports. A lot of people don't put the WNBA on the same level as the NBA. They don't get as much press. They don't get as much marketing. They don't get as much as attention. They get attention, they get praise, but they don't get as much. In which it would also go into making more sense why Sonya comes in feeling like she has to constantly remind us that she has 4 gold medals. She's a track athlete. She's been to the Olympics, because while she bonds with her husband on being career driven and being an athlete and being ambitious and all of that stuff, it's not held to the same esteem when she does it as it is when he does it. Therefore, when it comes to bringing another baby into the situation, which can be a badge of honor and an ego thing when it comes to men a lot of the time, especially men and athletes, he doesn't want to break that. He doesn't want to break that gender role thing. He doesn't want to break the dynamic and the imagery of, yeah, I got a woman that's equally yoked, but at the same time, she can be my cheerleader whenever I say so. She can be my cheerleader whenever I need to be. I can put her in feminine mode whenever it's comfortable for me. And if I acknowledge that she's getting burnt out on that shit and I'm fixing to have to really change my ways, if I acknowledge that, I'm gonna have to actually do it. And he don't understand what it means, especially that transition when athletes in general, but specifically men, because of the double standards and the difference in how people hold them, you know? So it makes him feel more responsible. It makes him feel more entitled to that attention. And when male athletes retire, they already feel a hit at the ego. Even though they have accomplished so much, they still feel that hit because it's so much the groupies, the praise, the, you know, crowd going wild when you break a man's ankles or whatever. It's just different. It's a very humbling experience for them to have to transform from going to practice every day, being on the field every day, everybody working as they every whim, you know, every single second of the day, to now you back at home, you back grounded, you gotta humble yourself because you actually gotta be around your kids 24/7 and not just a bunch of people that are, oh my gosh, I love you, oh my gosh, you're so great, telling you everything that you want to hear just because they are idolizing you. Now you got to be around people that actually need and require things of you every day. And that's a humbling thing, on top of now you want what you want, but your wife is now at a financial business mindset and point of burnout where she can no longer accept whatever it was that she was given before. She needs more. So especially if you come up to me asking for a baby, what are you fixing to do differently? Because ever since you stopped playing ball, you just got real comfortable around here. So how am I supposed to expect for you to step up and be like this here and not just think that me popping out a baby is just another bag, another medal, another pair of shoes, another dog for you or some shit. And you can't just come around and pet the baby and then go back to work. No, the child needs you. Needs both of us, and I need you in order to be everything that I need to be for the kid. Went on a bit of a tangent, but it needed to be said. So we're gonna get on back into we transition from that scene. Sonya is silly as hell. She was like, she gonna plan the dinner and be like, so how you feel about a family of 3? And so that confirms to me too that Sonya only has one kid, little Deuce. She named him Deuce. Tisk, y'all. Okay. I was getting ready to defend Candy, and then I got to fuss at Candy all over again. So let's talk about where we at. So we going over there, and we are at some type of gym spa situation with Sheree and Marlo. So Sheree is trying to, you know, find a way to bring them into her world and also implement little pieces of their world at the same time. So she like, because Marlo and Candy, they not, you know, the most athletic, they don't really like to work out or whatever, bring them to this like spa type situation, and we can do a sauna, and you know, you can sweat and all of that stuff. And there's also like certain elements that allow your, you know, certain parts of your body to activate and things of that nature, if I'm not mistaken, if I understood that appropriately. But Candy herself, well, let me get into the part where I gotta defend her real quick, cause Marlo gonna fucking ask the man at the counter, is it any type of something that they can implement in the sauna to help somebody be a good friend? You asking for yourself, Marlo? Are you asking for yourself? Okay. Now, Candace show up in this bodysuit. Now all these guys looking damn good, okay? The bodies are body yada 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 yadaing, okay? We are snatched, we are thick, and we are slim in all of the right places. We are smooth, we are melanated, we are sun kissed, and we are everything. And Kenzie is coming in like a dumb deer in headlights, expecting not to sweat out her weave. What you mean you ain't nasty? Why don't you came? Why don't you came? I can't. Candy is just one of them girls, child. She just one of them gals. One of them gals. You just can't take her nowhere. Let her, you gotta let Candy invite you everywhere. You can't invite Candy nowhere. She gotta invite you everywhere. Cause if you try to invite her anywhere, she just ain't gonna act right. It's just gonna be something, some reason why she can't fully participate. But we love you, girl. Okay, before they get into the mix, because it sound like they finna have a real messy conversation. And that's gonna be something to talk about within itself. But this is what I'm talking about. And this is why I be understanding people's frustration with Kenzie. Cause it's also something that tends to like irk me about Kenzie. And it literally goes to what I was just saying. And in the reading, the cards that I pulled up on her also have elements of saying the same thing. You can't invite Kenzie to do things. You can't exercise your basic need to include with Kenzie. Because there will always be some excuse, some reason why she can't fully commit and participate to what it is that she's showing up for. Like with Todd, you want him to accept everything that comes with your family and your business and your image and your career, but you put up so much resistance when it comes to him trying to bring you into his world, and he want you to accept something about him, like it is on this show. With a lot of things, a lot of people, like, that's why I understand where some people say that Candy kind of skates her way through being a cast member on the show, and organizations where you have to go through some form of initiation process where they don't condone hazing. It's just an initiation process. There is those people that make it online that we call paper. We legit, but them over there, they just paper. Okay? But there are a lot of people who just pay their way and sign their way through getting and becoming a part of an organization and getting through a particular process, even school, a lot of the time. And baby, Candace's new name is about to be Indestructibly Paid. Cause it's giving paper, and granted she got a lot of it, so I can't be too mad at her, and it ain't no hate, but baby, it's giving Indestructibly Paid. Because why do you show up? It's giving you showed up just to film. I can't be mad at you. Get your money. But girl, you knew you was coming to either to work out or do some sauna type shit, and you show us how my I ain't getting in there. I ain't getting in. I can't mess up my hair. I got something. You could have came with your hair braided, and I know you could have somebody on standby to throw your wig on and get it all prim and proper for you to move on to the next thing. And I don't want to give it to them. I don't want to at all, because what they doing and how they've been doing it is straight up trash, and it's not right. But this is where they kind of have a point, and where certain people have a point with Kenzie not being fully present, not being fully participative and cooperative, not fully wanting to play with the gals. And she could deny whatever she wants to. She ain't got to do nothing that she don't want to do. But at the same time, you be expecting certain things out of them and be trying to make them feel bad about not wanting to wear your panties. But then at every which way, you got every excuse as to why you can't do something simple. It makes sense why everybody wouldn't feel comfortable doing a vibrating panty challenge game on camera on national TV anyway, because it don't matter if you a freak on Monday and a prude on Friday. Whenever you don't want to be a freak and whenever you want to be a freak, that's your business, that's your prerogative, and don't nobody need to be trying to make you feel bad about it no which way. Period. So if you fine with sucking dick under the coffee table, but you not fine wearing vibrating panties and having somebody else control your coochie while you on national television, that's your bit. That makes all the sense. Who is anybody to make you feel uncomfortable about that? Let alone Kenzie, who is offended by everything. So it just really annoyed me that, because I hate when people do this in regular life. It really annoyed me that you showed up, and like I said, you want to get your check still, but you showed up to sit outside the sauna on the shower post. Like, don't say, because if you was friends, like if you felt in your heart that you was friends with Marlo and Sheree, you'd have got in that sauna with them regardless of what was going on. Like if you were actually invested in what you're doing, whether you friends with them or not, if you were actually invested in what you're doing in any way, shape, or form, getting in the sauna would not be a big ass issue, especially when you getting a check for the scene. Anyway, let's get on into this messy conversation that Marlo and Sheree is about to start, child. And okay, so Sheree pops off the conversation saying, you know, this is how I've been feeling, and this is why, you know what I'm saying, I've been a little funky with you. So we used to be cool, girl. We used to be girls. They used to come over to your house. We used to smudge, you know what I'm saying? We used to bond. We used to kick it. We ate ribs with this dude. But I never had a clue that when Tyrone would leave me standing, crying, looking like a fool at Philadelphia, that you would not hit me up as your good boo to see what was going on. Okay. And so Candy is like, I wanted to make sure that you was okay with telling me first before I brought it up to you. Basically saying the same thing that she been saying. And Sheree is kind of like not buying that or whatever, kind of sort of. She's like, you know, I just miss you and da da da. And Candy's like she kind of makes a face or whatever. And let me be clear, Candy don't owe Sheree shit, cause Sheree ain't shit. And Sheree done shown in a multitude of ways that she two-faced, and Candy probably got every right and reason to not, you know what I'm saying, feel like she owes Sheree shit. House and never. All that's well and good, but if you keep just, and this is what I meant by, if you really were invested in what you showed up for, none of that would have made a difference. You would be in that sauna getting everything that it has to give and giving everything that you could have gave, okay? To the situation, to the people that you in the situation with, and for the show that you want, okay? And you keep just and all of that in her face. If you don't fuck with the girl for real, if you really don't give a damn by how she feel or what's going on and all that shit, if you truly feel like you don't owe her shit, say that shit. Say that to her. Say, Sheree, I don't give a fuck. Sheree, I'm not calling you because for what? You don't deserve nothing from me. I don't owe you nothing. If you wanted me to know, you would have told me. Okay, and what else is going on? Say that shit. Stop hemming and hawing all up in her fucking face, and then steady moving like she really not a friend to you, like you really not a friend to her, like y'all just associates, like y'all just cast members and co-workers. It would honestly be much more interesting and be much less of you skating through the process if you would just pipe the fuck up and say, I don't fuck with you. You ain't gotta yell and do all the extra shit. I don't fuck with you. That what it really is, right? I don't fuck with you. So I don't see a reason to hit you up. You don't fuck with me, Sheree. You did this over here, so why you feel like I owe you such and such? Say that shit. Because you probably feel like you helping the situation and it'll just die down the more you ignore it and ignore it and ignore it. But it's really just giving them more ammo. It's really just kind of proving a point of them feeling like, and granted, they ain't got no credibility no way. But all at the same time, you are bringing truth to some of the things that they perceive about you concerning you not being totally authentic about your feelings and who you are. You know what I'm saying? Because if it's something so simple as, and maybe you haven't made up your mind, but even if that's the case, that's something you need to go ahead and say. Because they keep calling you to the carpet. So what is it giving? Don't keep saying, well, we friends, but I did this because of this. We friends, but I did that because of that. No. Be 100. Just be 100 about your feelings. Be 100 about the fact that you don't want to kick it with them. You just showing up to get your check. Okay, and she finally piping up. She said, why do y'all feel a need to keep asking me for things that y'all don't even offer out to me or do for me? Finally, thank you. And Marlo is getting loud now. Hold it on. The way Candy is looking at Marlo tell her sob story and shit. They both making some points. They both making some points. Candy's getting very loud, distraught, and disheveled and whatnot. I understand her frustration. But they're also making some points. And this is what I'm gonna say. So whereas Candy's like, y'all are requiring so much of me that y'all don't offer and da 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 da. And Marlo makes a very like crass response that I still see two sides of. she says, well, Kenzie, you was raised with family. You was raised better. You know better, da 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 da. And it's not Candy's responsibility to fill in the blanks of their trauma. But let me decode that wounded language that Marlo just spoke in. And this is why they're saying that they are disappointed and things of that nature. Because I told y'all, they admire Candy. They just admire her so much that they also hate her. But here are where they have some points. They admire Candy. They look up to Candy. They expect more of Candy because she has more. Now, there's fault on their behalf because, Marlo, you are equating material things to emotional intelligence, okay? Candy can have all the business mind, money, and all that type shit in the world, and family and all of that in the world, but still lack a certain amount of emotional intelligence, which I feel like she does. She does lack a certain amount of emotional intelligence. Marlo also lacks a certain amount of emotional intelligence. That's why it's kind of like hard to defend them at the same time. But they are not totally wrong, because Candy then responds, well, you know, my family isn't even getting, you know, everything they can from me, and that's what I have going on. And Marlo says to her, well, you know, basically, if everybody is telling you the same thing and it's coming at you every which way, then there must be some truth to it. And that is absolutely correct. Because I just said that is also showing up. And that reading coming soon, okay? But that also came up in the cards that popped out for her. I didn't pull no cards. They popped out of the deck for her. And they consisted of her being like so in her head and so focused on business, money. And it comes from her upbringing. So that's why it's hard for her to snap out of it. And this is also why she ends up having a breakdown as they are like holding her to task at the same time. And this is where I'm saying that's why I was saying stop hemming and hawing and faking the funk and say what it is that you have to say at the time that you have to say it. But I think Candy is a person that suppresses and decompartmentalizes her emotions. She throws them to the back, because most of the time she sees them as useless. But I think more so, whereas it sounds like, and in certain ways they are selfish, they are some bitches, but they want to bond with Candy. Candy doesn't allow herself to express the imperfect parts of her life. Then granted, she may not feel comfortable doing that with them. And she may have every right and reason. Say that shit. Say that shit. Because if you say that shit sooner, it won't get to the point of you having a whole meltdown and top popping off, you know what I'm saying, the steamer type of moment in a situation with two girls that you really don't even fuck with like that, and that you know don't even really fuck with you like that. But because you've held everything in for so long and they done caught you on the right day at the right time with the right or wrong energy, now you like having to unravel in front of them and they having to be the ones to like comfort you, which there can even be a blessing in that. But from Candy's perspective in particular, if she genuinely feels like these are two birds that she don't trust, and her habit of suppressing her emotions led her to having to unravel in front of two bitches that don't fucking see it for her and she really don't fuck with like that, I you know what I'm saying, I can feel bad for a person in that situation, if that's how Candy ended up feeling, with them being the ones to have to comfort her. Like if it was Kenya or her husband or, you know, her mama or something, for that to have happened with them, maybe it'd have been a little different. But you have gotten to a point of having to like have a vulnerable moment impromptu in front of two birds that really want to peck your fucking brain away type shit, you know? And I think that's all I pretty much had to unpack on this situation. It's just basically that overall, this scene ended up bringing to the forefront that Sheree and Marlo aren't completely wrong on their perception of Candy. They aren't right in how they go about it. They aren't right in how they conduct themselves. They are hypocrites. Definitely. But they aren't totally wrong about their perception. And I am glad that their response to Candy having that vulnerable moment was to comfort her, as opposed to just digging. And I think all of them needed that because of what I was saying. We as humans have a lot of basic needs, but two in particular: the basic need to include and the basic need to be included. And that can even show itself in the form of the basic need to comfort and the basic need to be comforted. And so Candy is a person who is in the habit of always being a comfort or the super saver, the hero to everybody else. So much so that she resists people coming in to save her, or peeping when she needs to be vulnerable, when she needs to be comforted. And this is where I'm saying that some of Marlo and Sheree's feelings are valid just based on basic human needs. They have, now how they handle it is wrong, but I'm just saying their feelings are kind of valid just based off basic human needs, where they have had moments where they want to be there for Candy. They want to experience that exchange of vulnerability with Candy, but they don't get that. Candy doesn't come off of her position. Candy doesn't come off of her rock of stability. I'm in control. I'm the boss. But when you're in relationship with people, y'all need that exchange of vulnerability. Just like y'all need that exchange of empowerment and happiness and stability, there needs to be that exchange of vulnerability as well in healthy forms. And people who are unstable themselves, if you deny them that exchange, they will try to get that exchange out of you in confrontational ways. And with all of that being said, that creates more of an explanation, brings more of a understanding as to why they keep going at her. Because like I said, they've been trying to knock her off of her pedestal, because that's their last resort to having a vulnerable exchange with her. It's so weird, but it's good to unpack. So I'm very grateful of this scene. I hope that they got, you know, the most of greatness that they could have gotten out of that scene as well. Sheree said she had a tantrum. So, you know, Candy is just expressing to them how it's hella annoying that, you know what I'm saying, they just keep coming back to back. And I definitely get that. I just still at the same time see how you could have allowed that, but like, you don't have to cry. Just let them know, hey, it ain't been like this here with us. We ain't been fucking with each other like that, so I don't know how I feel about all of it. Let them know from the jump so that it doesn't have to get to that point. But Marlo and Sheree say that they gonna be better, and Kenzie looks like she's taking it with a salt of grain. She said that they've drained her, and it's all understandable, and we're gonna see what it's given. But we know, we know, we know what Marlo and Sheree always give. Only a matter of time, Booski. So we back over here with Sonya and Deuce. Boy, Deuce is only 4. Deuce is tall for a 4-year-old. Goodness, but we over here with Sonya, Deuce, and her mama, and look like they cooking again, child. Every time we see them, there's some food going on, but I ain't mad at it. Y'all, Sonya one line when she said that she is not the cook, because she up in here thinking she just needs to see some one side of the fish, and I'm glad that her mama is in there watching over her to make sure that she is doing everything that needs to be done. Perhaps Paula Patton needed Sonya's mama in the kitchen with her when she was making that fried chicken, cause it's giving a fool. Deuce just walking up hitting Sonya, like he not like violently hitting her, but he just like pestfully hitting her. But I like these little refreshing, you know, different type scenes of Sonya just being like domestic or whatever, casual and shit at home and whatnot. And that's really nice. I just really like that. It's really refreshing. Because, you know, we get a lot of the glitz, the glam, the putting on for the show. And, oh, ooh, that food look good. And all of that. But, you know what I'm saying? So it's good to see them in their humble abode and everything. Woo! Ross. Woo! Yes! Oh, okay. This is the meal that she has prepared to lay it on him that she just want to be a family of 3. She said 3's company too, honey. Okay, that's good. That's good. That brings more like greatness into it, because Sonya is not a cook and she went out of her way to cook it and put it together, and it's obviously some love in there because both of them are enjoying what she put together, unless he just being nice. But it looked good. But she laying it on him now, child. She laying it on him. Her concerns. Girl, you could have let him, like, you should have waited till dessert, or till he was like halfway through the plate. Yeah, so it's a workaholic. It's a workaholic team. Okay, so I ain't gotta spend too much time on this particular part, because their conversation pretty much reaffirms and confirms what I was saying, that Sanya's concerns and the dynamics of their relationship could have possibly been. And low-key high-key is kind of giving just that. Ross wants what he wants. And when she tells him, you know, all of her concerns and how she felt alone the first time, and telling him that he works so much that it makes her feel neglected and deprived and drained on so many other fronts, and then on top of 10 other people being a part of the household and also requiring so much of her, and he is gone so much of the time, she feels swallowed up by the life. And his response to her basically is, well, you're not doing this, so that's why you can't get this out of me. So she tells him that she feels neglected and deprived because he works too much. And he tells her that she would get, not in these exact words, but he tells her that she would get more support out of him if she was giving him more support. She just told you she is drained. You wouldn't be drained so much so if you would take some time off from work, if you would balance out your schedule with work and home life and your, taking a break stage, then you would not be drained and in so much need of extra support. So it sounds like what Sonya says that she needs is also what the relationship needs, because what Sonya needs is actually also what you need, Ross, for you to stop working so fucking much. Because if you would stop working so much, then you could come back and pour more into your wife other than sperm. And she wouldn't be so drained. She might feel lighter. She may be able to rub and grease your scalp and a bunch of other things and send you back to work feeling wonderful and supported, waiting for you to come back to then regroup and refresh, pour into your family, and go off. Establish that balance, and then maybe have a baby once all of that is comfortably arranged and settled. But instead, he just wants what he wants. And so basically he put it back off on her. This is what you need to do. And she asked him, okay, well, what would you be resentful if I didn't want to have the baby or whatnot? Because he basically still reiterates that he still wants the baby. They still need to have a baby. And she okay, well, will you resent me if that doesn't happen? And he not sure. And as fine as he is, he been a typical man. And not even man in the authentic sense, because a man would adhere to his wife's feelings and recognize that she's falling the fuck apart under pressure and needs you to be around more and be present. But you just want to feel some void, some stroke of the ego with this baby, and it's you're not the one that has to go through that. And with you working all the fucking time, you taking the easy way out. It's some bullshit. It's typical bullshit. It's typical bullshit. And I'm gonna leave it at that. He needs to get it the fuck together. So we are with Sheree, and she's getting some fabrics and things together for her She by Sheree collection. We're not gonna spend too much time on this because it's just her talking about everything that she ain't done and needs to do, and going through the fabrics and whatnot. And I'm appreciative of it. It's a different side of Sheree. I like to see the girls doing their businesses and stuff. It's just that we've been seeing her talk about this for so long to see nothing come of it. So when she has something to come of it, then I will be more interested. Okay, moving on. We are over here with Marlo, and she's in her closet. She's in the archive with her nephews, catching up with them. And she's basically saying that her nephews have been acting out ever since the chaotic call with her sister and everything. That's unfortunate, but it also makes sense at the same time. And baby, she got them working. She got them working, honey, teaching them the value of earning $1 and what it's like and whatnot. And she's talking about how she used to work at the car wash, vacuuming clothes. She walk over across town, she go work at Westfield. She walk over across town, she go work at McDonald's. She walk over here and she work at KFC. And she work over here and they're on the highways and byways, doing everything, being every woman, okay? And we out here for it. I love to hear that side. of Marlo and hear her have those types of conversations, and also see somebody on television having this type of conversation with their kids as well. You know what I'm saying? And in a way that's not like condescending, demeaning, derogatory, and aggressive and whatnot. Because y'all know how old the elders can be. Just very aggressive for no reason. Why? It's a lot of explanations for it. It just, the current time don't be calling for it. So this is just very refreshing. I'm very glad that she's having that moment with her nephews. And now we are over across town with Candace. She look like she and some type of herbal essences with some body oils and fragrances and things of that nature. And Kenya is walking up looking damn good as usual. And that's Mayetta? Okay, we getting to see Mayetta again. Yeah, ma'am. And she looking cute as well. Oh, y'all can. Oh, okay. But child, okay, so like I said, we over here with Kenya, Candy, and Mayetta, and they at the body oil fragrance shop and whatnot, and they're talking about a Candy Cares event that Mayetta attended for Candy and everything, and Kenya brings up how Marlo was going in on Candy at the end of last week's episode and gave her the whole rundown of everything that Marlo was putting down. And now Candy done picked it up and she is going off about that and how, Marlo and Sheree was coming at her at the sauna. And Candy and Mayetta are now, reaffirming to Candy and vouching for her. Like, you show up for people. You definitely show up for people. You reach out to people. You good on that. It's not you, it's them. And I can definitely appreciate that. I just also feel like the same thing I said before, kind of, you bring more credibility to them saying that when you don't go off like how Candy just went off here. You don't go off like that in front they face, like talking about. You don't tell them how you really feel about them and y'all's relationship or lack thereof, and that's why they still feel comfortable talking about, even though everybody else know what's going on, but that's why they still be harping on, well, you're not doing this as a friend and you're not doing that as a friend and da 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 da, because you still kind of hemming and hawing and shit in their face, like you a friend, like are y'all friends, associates, frenemies, what? Say what it is, and they wouldn't have not now piece of a leg to stand on when it comes down to saying this and that. They don't anyway, because Candy does, what she needs to do. And we just saw Candy reach out to Marlo last episode and she shit on it. So that's where the credibility be fucked up all over again. I'm screaming. Okay, so the conversation transitions from, the whole Marlo and Sheree situation over to Candy asking Monyetta about her wedding and the honeymoon, and did she enjoy the products, the bedroom candy products that her friend had gotten her and everything, and you know they're going up over that. And then Candy decides to ask Monyetta how she would have felt about engaging in the vibrating panty thing on that they did on the New York trip or whatever. And Kenya also makes sure that she notes that if you get too close, some random person could be controlling your panties that's on the trip or whatever. And Monyetta's like, oh wait, I was almost on your side, Candy, but I don't know about that one, and da 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 da. And Candy is steady trying to justify saying, you know what I'm saying, can you done this and can you done that? She said that she wanted to fuck in front of my husband and all of this other shit, and all of that can be well and good. But like I said, because Kenya also brought up that, you know, how Candy sent over the half-naked people to be the invitation to the event. And listen, I'm not gonna stay on this too long. They end up getting into an argument about it. I'm not gonna stay on this too long because we done already covered this, and I done pretty much said how I feel. Just because Kenya wanted to be the freak of the week last week, don't mean that she gotta do that shit today. She don't have to like them damn panties. She don't have to want your husband buzzing her pussy or none of that shit. And also, stop comparing apples to oranges, because Kenya playing a role in a movie is not the same as doing this game or whatever, going to a black man autobiographical, emotional ass play type shit. That's not the same. Kenya busting it open at a bachelorette party and y'all playing and buzzing each other's coochies at a play that's not about that is not the same. Kenya saying that she wants to have sex, that she would have sex with you, is not the same as your husband potentially being able to buzz her coochie. She said she wouldn't have a problem having sex with you, not your husband buzzing her coochie. She can like and dislike whatever the fuck she want to like and dislike. And if it's not a problem, like, and this shit gets on my nerves. Candy, you want to be the freak of the week, and then you want to be offended when somebody acknowledges that you the freak of the week. But then you want everybody to constantly go along with all your freaky deaky shit. And then at the same time, you want to try to shame them and call them a prude and shame them for not, you know, feeling that shit and want to be into it. That's not cool at all. Just as much as it's not cool to be slut shaming and all of that shit, it's not cool to be shaming somebody for not wanting to be into it or just simply not being into it. Don't nobody have to like that shit. Get the fuck over it and get the fuck over yourself. Period. Y'all, this is a candle making shop. They go through the body oils and they sample them and whatnot and choose the ones they want so they can put it all together and make themselves a candle. And they get to come up with their own names and customizations and everything. That's real nice. I would like to do that. And I am glad that Kenya and Kenzie do know how to disagree and just move on. Because she ain't lying. With Marlo, they would have turned into a whole situation. Kenzie names her candle Candy's Pussy. Girl, go ahead and market that and sell it. I buy. Child, so we dropping it with Drew, and the gals are clowning. So it's looking real professional and real put together and everything. But the producers and the editors is petty as well. Because they panted 3 days ago. How 3 days ago it wasn't no big ass sign that said drop it with Drew. It was just some more stuff that said a fat loss camp and all of that stuff. It wasn't necessarily like targeted or pointed directly towards Drew. Now, there were certain things that were going on, of course, that designated as, you know, she was a special person there or whatever. But yeah, so Marlo, Sanya, and Sheree are showing up together. Just find it interesting. But yeah, so Marlo, Sheree, and Sanya show up together, and Marlo telling saying, yeah, I would have uninvited your ass. I appreciate the honesty. And they shading, this is when they paying back to 3 days ago how none of that stuff was on the building before. And Sheree talking about she went to FedEx or some shit at Home Depot or something and had the poster printed out for this special event. Girl, snapped. But can't lie, Drew is showing improving. She's showing improving something, okay? Yeah, it's a whole lot of foolishness going on. So, first of all, yeah, Sanya was saying how she wants to get back into a sweet place with Drew, so she's appreciative that Drew did not uninvite her. And they get in and they been extra nice to each other, and she like, oh, thank you for inviting me. I'm so glad that you not invited me. And Drew is like, oh yes, you know, like girl, I gotta do you too, cause you know how it is. Make sure y'all tune in to all of the readings that I do on everything, especially that one that I posted right before this video will be posted. Okay, the Tea Party read. Make sure y'all tune into that because my reaction to a lot of these interactions and trios and things of that nature may make a whole lot more sense to you. But anywho, so they have that weird, interesting moment. And we see Marlo walk right past Kenzie and ignore her, speaking to a plethora of other people. When, girl, y'all just supposedly had, you know what I'm saying, a bonding moment. Ain't that what you wanted? To make Kenzie cry so that you can pick her up while she was down? Interesting. Oh, okay. So Sheree is popping out of a bag on our ass with some athletic teams. She got She by Sheree mats, yoga mats. She got She by Sheree prototype tights that she got on. She got some She by Sheree athletics. Yes. And they are petty as hell talking about available in spring, summer, September. I'm screaming. She might as well come out with a line called Spring, Summer, September because it's all the way up there. Sonya abs are abbing. I'm not mad at this scene, but it's interesting that Sonya is commentating with Drew about her issues with Ross concerning her concerns about having a new baby. Which is, I think it's good for her to get another male athlete's perspective. I just found it interesting that it's Ralph that she's having this scene with. So Marlo walk up and just randomly start talking to Candace. She like, oh, now you talking to me. And Marlo like, what? It ain't nothing. This and that. I saw you at the corner of my eye. Okay, girl, then speak. What? And with all that said, Candy addresses, girl, I heard that you was talking about me with all of the hands down there at the table, okay, last time I wasn't there. And Marlo was like, oh yeah, girl, we are actually went there. Girl deflecting and derailing, honey. Candy peeped it and she was just like, let's not distract or take away from the event. We'll just talk about this later. I ain't mad at it. But girl, what is Kenya? What is it giving? Okay, an award ceremony for Drew's drop it. Drew's droppers. Drew's droppers. She giving out awards for her droppers. So child, we see Todd on the phone. He come like, hurry Candy and tell her to get her stuff, and they leaving like something wrong. done jumped the gate and it's on their property. What? Excuse me? Oh my gosh. So before we get to the laughable moment, let me square away the weird ass moment that Candy had about the dude jumping her gate and being on her porch, honey. Lady at home with her kids, weird ass man come up doing weird ass things. They had to call the cops. Kenzie and Todd had to go home. All right, the end. We wish them the best. We get into Drop It with Drew. And baby, they ain't dropping it, honey. They is dropping it. And mind you, in my head, I'm like, okay, we dropping it with Drew, but Drew ain't leading none of the exercises. And on top of that, it's way other people in the class that are showing her the fuck up. Way outdoing her, okay? Way outdoing her. And Sheree and Marlo, well, Marlo is not doing too much at all, but they are reading her for the fifth. And Sheree is like, the way she in here doing these moves, and she's supposed to be the example and everything. It makes sense why she still look like a can of busted open biscuits. And then Marlo says, baby, I don't do this. I get lipo. But ain't that what Drew do? Kenya's here and she's late, but she looks good. Screaming. Look good. I like that bodysuit. So multicolored tiger stripe. Well, multicolored pink, purple, and yellow tiger stripe bodysuit. This looks real nice. Like that. Good. Kenya's so obnoxious. She walk in late, loud, eating, as usual. So Sanya saying the same thing that I was thinking. Those moves that they was in there doing, jumping left to right with them weights, and this wasn't like no little 3 pound weights they had. Them weights was at least 5 to 10 pounds. It might have varied amongst people, but most people had like 5 to 8 pound weights in their hands, like jumping back and forth, and then doing some squats and sit-ups and I forgot what they called, but all those different types of crunches and how high power was and all of that. That didn't look like no beginner stuff. That ain't look like no beginner stuff. And like they said, Drew is struggling to do it herself, so but she kind of deflects and derail the convo. Is like, yeah, but the modifications. Oh, let me call over Janice. I think that's her name. But she hurried up and directed the attention off of herself over to the girl that was leading the workouts, because there was a male and a woman leading the workouts, and she calls over the lady to explain the modifications and all of that. But I didn't see Drew doing no modifications. I saw her looking out of shape and doing what she could. I ain't see no modifications. I know what a modification look like. Okay. Tisk. Okay, so Jackie, the organization, the program and everything is hers, and she's been doing it for 5 years. And she explains that basically, she had pros in different area codes, and she hit up Drew to be a face in Atlanta and be a connect in Atlanta. So we all deduce, and Sunny is the voice of that, but we all deduce that okay, Drew was picked up to be the face of this shit. It's not her thing. She ain't even been doing it that long. Like the whole business has been going on much longer now. She's been brought in as a what do they call it? As a brand ambassador, if you will. I think that's the word for it, a brand ambassador. But she's been brought in more so as, I think that's the word. She's been brought in more so as a brand ambassador. It's kind of like talent, also, if you will, like kind of as a guinea pig, also for the organization, which is great, which is cool. It's just it goes back to what they flashed back to with her saying, we've been doing this for 5 years and da, 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 and y'all ain't been doing nothing. She's been running that business for 5 years and she just brought you into it. Marlo, girl. Let's pick back up first with the conversation about the candy combo that happened at the gathering that they had on last episode when Marlo was being a total asshole and trying to make Kenzie look and sound bad about the clothes, which that's not even being said because Marlo is manipulating the situation. So the entire argument is getting diluted and convoluted with a whole bunch of other foolishness. So Candy just, I mean, Kenya, Kenya is saying basically the way that I checked you and how I conveyed what I was checking you about brought to her attention how you require a lot of things that you are not willing to give. And Marlo starts to white woman it in the confessional and in the moment, acting like Kenya is picking on her and Kenya has been doing this and that to her and all this other stuff. And Marlo, we all see you doing that you do. Starting a bunch of shit, throwing rocks, hiding your hand, playing victim. When it's you, 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 evil, evil. And you're projecting, trying to make it seem like Kenya has done something to you. Like Kenya is stirring up something and all that. You too big for all that. Girl, shut up. It's really sad. And she starts talking about, can you teach me how to be a friend, Kenya? You always want somebody to teach you how to be a friend. If ain't nobody taught you, if life ain't taught you by now, then it must be you. Because that's what I'm saying. She ain't doing nothing but deflecting and derailing. And now they're arguing, and she's just trying to say anything to take low, cheap shots at Kenya and trying to talk about her life and her man and all of that stuff. And Kenya said, where's your man? And Marlon's like, I don't want one. You would want to do this and that and this third. And Booski, so is your best friend Sheree over there. So you ain't think about how that read went across the table. Child a mess. And so now Marlo is taking all types of cheap shots, stating the obvious about Mark and Kenya's relationship, which is really old and really sad that that's what you're resorting to at this point, Marlo. Not just because it's fucking lame at this point and fucking old and tired and you wrong as fuck, but also because you out here was just showing yourself to be some type of example and role model for young women, and this is how you carry on. Mind you, the whole entire franchise and all of that is shady and pettiness, and yeah, it happens. But the way Marlo carries on, it's a whole lot of things that you can read a person about and not take a low blow. Like this here. It is not an insult to Kenya that she was in an abusive relationship. That's nothing to insult somebody over. You insult the abuser. The abuser is the one that should feel ashamed. The abuser is the one that should be insulted and held accountable. So when you really think about what you're saying, it says a lot about you. It says a lot about you that you think it's a read to shame someone about having been victimized. If that's the rate that, you know, everybody wanted to go with it, it's tons of things that could be said about you, Marlo. And that's how we know that all of that shit comes from a wounded place and you need therapy. And Marlo is getting all up in her face, and Kenya is like, get up out my face, get up out my face, get up out my face. And it's getting real heated, real quick, real fast. And Marlo is wrong as hell. Child, I don't know if Kenya could give anybody a run for their money in a fight from what we've seen. Well, well, no, she might cut somebody, but she is going off, and I'm here for it, and I'm with it. Cause Marlo needs to be slapped. To be honest, like, can you feel I'm a perfect Barbie doll? I don't care that ugly bitch. Tisk. And Drew thanks everybody for coming. Marlo is over there being a whole teenager. I'm a girl from the hood. This is, you know how we get down. And talking about she don't go for nobody's jugular. She don't talk about nobody's family. Girl, what you was just doing a minute ago. And they even showed a flashback of the many a times that she has done such things. It's just really ugly and just really tired. Really tired. You can get away with this for your first season, Peach, Holds, and Marlo, but by next season, you're going to have to come up with something new, boo. Because you skating with this. So after Drew bid them all farewell from her event, we get back home with Kenzie to catch up about the intruder. And they got video footage of this man up here talking about, I was sent over here because I'm Beyonce's family member, and they told me to come talk to Candy Birds because I'm T.I.'s son. Who your people? Somebody come get that boy. Come get it. Give him some herbs and fluids, cause I cannot. Well, good thing they got that situated because. Okay, so we get a real quick men's made with Sonya and Drew when we flash back over to the facility which they had dropped it with Drew. And Sonya is apologizing for how she came off and how she went about everything. And she basically tells her that going forward, she's going to be more straightforward and not beat around the bush and not do things and address things on some kumbaya shit with like everybody around or whatever. And Drew, you know, apologizes for her part and just basically lets her know, you know, it made me feel hella defensive with you bringing it up in front of everybody because I often feel ganged up on. And that's reasonable, understandable. It's also some other things that I peep. But you know, stay tuned and make sure you tune in to my readings on the cast and the tea. Anywho, so they started to talk about Ralph and Ross's bonds and whatnot. So they want to bond off of their bond. We're gonna see how that turn out. And so we close out with another very telling exchange between Sonya and True. And like I said, they're bonding over their husbands and whatnot. And Sonya talks about the new baby concerns. And Drew hits her with that you gotta do this and that to please your husband. You gotta do that to satisfy your husband. You don't want your husband resenting you. You need, if he wants a baby, you got to pop at that baby. You got all the rest of your life to work. You got to hold on and do that because you got to hold on to your husband. You got to do what you need to do for your husband, your husband, your husband. And Sonya says exactly right. Sonya, stick to your guns, boo, because yeah, that's exactly what women are conditioned to do. My man, my man, my man, my man, my man. Gotta do this for my man. Da, 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 da. You can't be nothing for nobody if you ain't good for yourself. And also, what is your man doing for you? What Janet Jackson say? What have you done for me lately? What have you done for me lately? What are you doing? And if he's not bringing everything, even half of everything that you're bringing to the table, then what is it giving? Is he interested in satisfying you? What about Sanya growing resentful of him and growing resentful of the child because she had it for the wrong reason? And what does Drew have to say? But your husband. And that's where we leave off with it, honey. That's where we leave off with it. And I declare, I declare. Well, I hope y'all enjoy because I have milked this cow dry and for dear life. And I hope that you all have been thoroughly educated and entertained and enlightened. And I bid you all a hefty, intensified, and embracing light, love, healing, and liberation. To you all, emphasis on liberation. Mwah.